House of Commons, smash windows, and express your anger and attack the sacred idol of property. She explained that because the militancy of Baptists had helped to bring about change back then, the suffragette must also adopt radical tactics of civil disobedience. Her last word, though, and perhaps the most powerful one, to rapturous applause and cheers in the auditorium, Pankhurst finished by exclaiming, "I incite this meeting to rebellion," and addressing the movement, "Take me if you dare, but this isn't just a foolhardy rhetoric." Many suffragettes spent time in prison for their actions, and a larger number of them went on hunger strike whilst behind bars. So, whatever the government does to her, Pankhurst declared, "You will not keep me in the prison," making her speech more than just a radical call to arms, but an open defiance of the government oppression. This defiance went on for 2 more years until the outbreak of World War I, when many suffrage women and the movement dedicated themselves toward the war effort. It was at that end of the war, in 1918, that the first women from 8.4 million of them got the vote in the United Kingdom. I want you people to understand the evolution of freedom that all of you enjoy today, that people paid price. Many, including the government, did not believe in the vision, and I call them the visionary leaders of this world. Every freedom fighter is a visionary leader. Vision carriers. We see tomorrow, we see years to come, and after we are gone, our world will become law to those that are still alive. That is exactly the way it is. Everything we do today will become your law, because we see the future that the idiotic and the buffoon leaders of today could not see. Corrupt leaders who only interested in their selfish interests, who only interest and nothing else. So we see beyond human comprehension. Just like today, we build and unveil Biafra Army because we know that in this 2024, Nigeria will be at war. The Islamists will be everywhere killing Nigerians. Today, only in Biafra land that they are not killing. Our security challenges in Biafra is state-sponsored, state agent, and state police and military in uniform. These are the security challenges that Biafra people are facing today. Not terrorists from Sahel. They don't dare to come. We control our territory. And we deal with them whenever we want. Now our focus is on the legitimization of Nigeria. A vision that Simon Ekpa and the Biafra government saw, including Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, saw it many years ago. These are visionary leaders that carries vision and want to use it to change their life, of the life of their people before it is late. Evolution of freedom. The evolution of freedom, and someone must take the lead. The Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile is taking that bullet today. And I will take the bullet for Biafra all the way to Biafra freedom and on your behalf. I want us to look at Gandhi, one of the most famous important speech of Gandhi is Quit India. Quit India. It played a central role in the Quit India movement, which helped to gain India independence from Britain. In the speech, Gandhi reinforced his commitment to pacifism and non-violence. A non-violent soldier of freedom will covet nothing for himself. He fights only for the freedom of his country. He also declared that once independence has been won, it will be the people of India to decide democratically who rule their country. He expressed his wish for equal freedom for all and India independence, but he encouraged his supporters not to hate the British people, only to hate British imperialism. He went on to say, we must therefore purge ourselves of hatred, because hatred can never bring about justice. Instead, the Indian independence movement must be a friend to the British, whilst also fighting for the freedom of their country. Only then will their movement succeed. The sentiment of this speech are very similar to Gandhi. I want to avoid violence, which he made during his 1922 trial. Again, he urged the people of India towards non-violence, yet he was imprisoned, and explained, violent non-cooperation only multiplies evil. It is this pacifism that Gandhi is most highly regarded for, and it was his work for India's independence that won the country's its freedom in 1947. The Biafra people are not taking the non-violent approach of Gandhi, because the first question you should ask is, who is violent? See, the Biafra people or the Nigeria Islamic State? But I will come to that. I want to take Biafrans back to the days of Lumumba, Patrick Lumumba. We are going to show to the world that black man can do this. That was the speech. What black man can do. Fellow Biafrans, I can assure you today that those of them who are the armies of Congo in Biafra land will be eliminated in due time. By true patriotic Biafra forces, you will have no place in Biafra. I am referring and sending direct message to the army of Congo. Those army of Congo that are loyal to the enablers and killers of their own people that eliminated and assassinated Patrice Lumumba. The dream of Congo died with Lumumba. When the Congo gained its independence in 1960, its new Prime Minister, Patrice Lumumba, made this passionate and momentous speech to his country people. He described the struggle of his countrymen for independence as one of tears, fire, and blood. This struggle Lumumba went on should make them profoundly proud, because it was a noble and just struggle that put an end to the humiliating bondage imposed on us by force, just like the Biafran people are going through it today. His countrymen had suffered. They were insulted just like the Biafra people, simply because of the color of their skin. They were, as he said, treated as second-class citizens. just like the Biafra people can never be president in Nigeria, living in tumble-down straw huts, whilst the white Europeans live in magnificent houses in the Congo's city. But all of this had passed. The Congo regained its independence, and in that freedom, Lumumba was determined that would show the world what the black man can do, just like many of us in Biafra liberation are saying today. Their country would be the center of radiance of the whole of Africa. They would establish new just laws, put an end to discrimination, and strive for a peace of courage and goodwill. Lumumba's plan constituted a truly inspiring, hopeful vision. But sadly, a year after Congo's independence, Lumumba was killed by troop loyal to the army chief, and his dream for Congo never become reality. Those of you in Biafra land that are waiting to become the Congo Army Congo, or Congo, or those army of Congo in Biafra land, you will be eliminated in due time by the true patriotic forces. You will never have a place in Biafra land. The Congo army will never have a place in Biafra land after independence of Biafra has been restored. Fellow Biafrans, I can go on and on and on, making references to the evolution of freedom, how men and the women shaping the world that we all enjoy today by their sacrifice and selfless services to their people. Of course, I cannot end this great speech today and address to the Biafra people as we are making progress without making reference to Martin Luther King Jr. in his speech, I Have a Dream. King started by describing the miracles of the segregation of the chains of discrimination under which African American has suffered for so many years, despite their supposed emancipation. He refers to the Declaration of Independence as a bad check, as far as black people were concerned, in that their unalienable right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness had never been upheld. But Martin Luther King saw hope after this summer of the Negro legitimate discontent. There would be an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. And unless this came about, the whirlwind of revolt will continue to shake the foundation of our nation. And I am borrowing from King that Biafra Liberation Army, Biafra resistance fighters, as long as Biafra continue to suffer under Nigeria, we will continue to revolt, and there will never be peace in Nigeria until Biafra exit. We will make sure that the war is all over Nigeria for the liberation and the freedom of our people, and of course, for the self-defense of our people. We are going to make sure that every security apparatus in Nigeria will be decimated in time. That's where the attack against Biafra are being planned. So allow us to go, or you will be given hell. King also mentioned and said, but in urging revolution like Gandhi, King urged against violence and hate. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. After all, the freedom of white people is inextricably bound to our freedom, he said. It is then that King described his dream, a dream that is deeply rooted in the American dream, that one day we will recognize that all men are created equal. Now, referring to the first John Ball, that all men are alike. After decade, many years, King Martin Luther King made a reference to that. The hope that one day sons of former slave and sons of former slave owner will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. It is a dream that is rooted in love, in compassion for the whole of mankind, a dream of equality and brotherhood. King ended his speech with the famous exclamation, "Let freedom ring." And indeed, freedom did ring in 1964. The Civil Rights Act was passed, and in 1965, the Voting Rights Act was passed, which finally gave federal agencies effective power to enforce the right of Black Americans. If it is wearing for King, and if it weren't for the great speech in Washington, perhaps those acts would never have become a reality. Today, they left the problem and start tackling sit at home. But I have this to tell the enablers in Biafra land that are releasing speeches and press release against the Biafra sit at home. True peace is not measured by the absence of tension emanating from sit at home. But peace in Biafra land will be measured by the presence of justice, and where there is no justice, there is no peace. The evolution of freedom. I want to refrain myself and repeat what I said for easy understanding. My message to Nigeria Islamic State today: they left the problem they created and start tackling Biafra sit at home. But I will tell them this, to those enablers, that for you to have peace and to measure the peace, whether in Biafra territory or other parts of Nigeria, peace cannot be measured by the absence of tensions emanating from sit-at-home order. But peace will only be measured by the presence of justice. And where there is no justice, there is no peace. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still illegally being detained. It is a fact. Court has freed him. While Boko Haram are being recruited into the Nigerian army, Biafrans are being abducted, enforcing their disappearance every day. And, of course, we will never lay down our arms until Biafra is achieved. Fellow Biafrans, I want you to understand that the government in exile is making history, and nothing is going to stop the Biafra freedom from coming. We know and have the key. Nelson Mandela, in one of his speeches, an ideal for which I am prepared to die, at the end of his trial in 1964, Nelson Mandela took to the podium to explain the ANC reason for abandoning Gandhi principles of non-violence to their freedom, and instead adopting the militant method of sabotage against property, which the activist Emmeline Pankhurst had also encouraged. At that time, Mandela explained that His decision to support militant aggression was not made through recklessness or from any love for violence. Instead, it was the result of a calm and sober assessment of the political situation that has risen after many years of tyranny, exploitation, oppression of many people by the whites. Non-violent action had not worked and had often ended in the death of hundreds of protesters, just like Nigeria are doing to Biafra today. Choose. He argued that the government which uses force to support its rule teaches the oppressed to use force to oppose it. Justifying his decision to engage in sabotage and hostility. The most powerful part of the speech of Mandela, though, came to the end. At the end, in his closing speech, Mandela said his lifelong commitment to the African struggle. I have cherished the ideal of democracy and a free society in which all persons will live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal for which I hope to live for and to see realized. But my Lord, if it is need be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. Apparently, as he delivered this final speech, Mandela started staring at the judge directly in the eye. Happily, unlike Martin Luther King Jr., who adopted the approach of Gandhi of nonviolence, Mandela wasn't killed for his belief, and indeed, he became the president of South Africa in 1994. Mandela died in 2013 from a respiratory infection, though his legacy lives on. While Mandela's funeral was ongoing, Obama was there, present. Obama also quoted the speech in a tribute to Mandela in Johannesburg. While Obama was making the speech, Mandela was still in the list as a terrorist by the CIA. Whether they forgot to remove his name from the terrorist list or not, the facts are there that while Obama was giving eulogy to Mandela, he was still listed as a terrorist in the United States. Evolution of freedom. Evolution. Today, everybody is taking Mandela as a legend, which he is and was. Fellow Biafran, I want to make sure that the history we are making today, that you know the foundation of the actions, decisions we are taking today to liberate you. Che Guevara is a Cuban. He's a Cuban revolutionary. He was captured and executed on the order of the Bolivian president in 1967. A few days later, Fidel Castro made a speech in honor of his close friend and comrade. Castro described Che as an incomparable soldier and an incomparable leader who was both capable and courageous. He was a person of visionary intelligence and a broad culture. Two, but a man of ideas and a man of action. His death is, of course, a loss. But as Castro explained, the artist may die, but what will surely never die is the art to which he has dedicated his life. Ojukwu started Biafra. Ojukwu is no more. Biafra is here. Philip Effiong started Biafra. Philip Effiong is no more. Biafra is here. Many heroes of Biafra who started Biafra, they are all gone. But Biafra is here. How truth is this? The revolutionary always are those who see tomorrow. Their word always live almost forever. Perhaps this word inspires that famous line in the film V for Vendetta. Beneath this mask, there is an idea. Mr. Greedy and the idea are bulletproof. Fidel Castro went on to say that causes are not defeated when people fall. And just because Che died does not mean his struggle were in vain. Same thing I'm telling to Nigeria government today. Kidnapping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu doesn't mean that Biafra have ended. But you boasted when you renditioned him to Nigeria how you have ended Biafra. You boasted to the world in a press conference that Biafra has ended. And just because Che died does not mean his struggle were in vain. After all, Che was not just a great general. He was also a great thinker. And by killing him, they have not eliminated his ideas, eliminated his virtue, eliminated his example. Rather, Che will live on as a martyr and a symbol of dedication to the revolution. And that's exactly what happened. Castro's word about the legacy of his friend proved to be almost prophetic. It is always like that. Che has indeed become a socialist icon for movement worldwide. And I am reading about him today. And I am sure there are very few people who have never come across a Che Guevara t-shirt or poster at some point in their lives. It seems then that ideas really are bulletproof, especially radical ones. The evolution of freedom. My message to the Nigeria representative in the Southeast and South-South, otherwise known as Biafra territory today, is that you may choose to look the other way, but you can never say again that you did not know the evolution of freedom fighting that changes the world for better. Some people today tell us about non-violent agitation as the only way. And I ask them, who is violent? Is it the Biafra people that were carrying flags and walking on the street, or the Nigeria security agents that were shooting and killing them? Who is the one that is violent? You carry the flag and you get killed. Are you the one constituting violence, or the state that is sponsoring the killing? What do self-defense against the killers means? What we do today is to just defend our land and ourselves against Nigeria Islamic State and the killers. And at the same time, taking our freedom and the future into our hands, because a government that kills protesters are not ready for peaceful discussion. The reason we, the Biafran in exile, has taken guns, arms, ammunition in our position to defend our land is because a government that kills protesters are not ready for peaceful discussion. My fellow Biafrans, well-wishers, political leaders across the globe listening to me today, or that will listen to this speech later on, I want to inform the world today that Biafra has taken up arms, and we are not dropping these arms until our freedom is achieved. For those making references to peaceful agitation as the only pathway to freedom, listen to me today. The reason for our abandoning Gandhi principles of non-violent and state adopting militancy, guerrilla warfare as a method to sabotage against the Nigerian Islamic State and forces and its presence in Biafra territory, just like Mandela and many more, is a decision we made out of necessity. Our decision to support guerrilla warfare, militant aggression was not also made through recklessness or from any love for violence. Instead, it was as a result of a calm and sober assessment of the political situation that had arisen after many years of tyranny, killings, exploitation, and oppression of the Biafra people by the Islamic State of Nigeria. Non-violent actions had not worked and had often ended in the death of hundreds of protesters in Biafra territory. Not only Biafrans are being killed when they protest. We have seen the Lekki toll gate shooting. Those carrying Nigeria flag were murdered in cold blood. Fellow Biafrans, during the Massoub led by Wazirike, they were not armed, but Nigeria Islamic State killed them without justification. Many Massoub members were killed and thrown in the ocean, thrown in the river. Nobody has been held responsible for that. And finally, they forced Wazirike to quit the struggle. And Wazirike joined Nigeria kingmakers in the southeast. Today, every election, he will have his opinion. The IPOB, led by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our leader, IPOB was also a splinter group from Massoub after Wazirike was compelled by the Islamic State to quit Biafra struggle and become one of the kingmakers in the southeast. The movement of IPOB started in 2013. Thousands of IPOB members has been killed and murdered in cold blood, and many bodies were thrown in the river. Obibo massacre was very fresh in our memory, and we are coming to revenge Obibo massacre. It's going to happen very soon. The revenge of Obibo massacre by the Nigeria terrorists in River State will and must be avenged. Biafrans under IPOB, thousands were killed, thousands were abducted, thousands were butchered, and their family never found their bodies. Many are being detained, including the leader today. They kidnapped him from Kenya and renditioned him to Nigeria, and they have denied him every right under Nigeria. They were not violent. They did not carry arms. They only carried flag. Until today, Nigeria has violated every court order, including the ultimatum from the United Nations. And of course, out of fear, the defunct leadership he left, called the DOS, presently IPOB Nigeria, joined Nigerian politicians against genuine agitators and become IPOB Nigeria. Today, every Biafra movement has collapsed into Biafra government in exile. Both in the homeland and in exile, Nigeria has recruited Islamic State fighters into their military, police, and other forces to continue the holy war of Islam against indigenous people, and Biafra government in exile can't sit back and watch Nigeria state kill Biafra unchallenged. Therefore, the government which uses force to support its rules teaches the oppressed to use force to oppose it. We will continue to justify our decision to engage in sabotaging and hostility against terrorists in uniform until they are withdrawn completely from Biafra territory from the 40 United States of Biafra. Fellow Biafran, over 10,000 live viewers on Twitter. I am a Pan-Africanist. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and a free society which all persons will live together in harmony. And with equal opportunity, it is an ideal for which I hope to live for and to see realized. For that reason, our approach to Biafra freedom is multidimensional. It is not just hostility against Nigeria terrorist state, but we also have adopted a democratic process by embarking on self-referendum, which will be conducted through electronic voting. We understand the challenges of this approach, especially when our people in the rural area have no electricity and internet. We, however, expected to have a reasonable number of votes of Biafra extraction across the globe. The Biafra self-referendum will start on the 1st of February 2024, and there will be 3 stages to this self-referendum. The stage 3 will run through to our convention in Finland later this year. We continue to demand the withdrawal of the Nigeria terrorist troop from police to army to any Nigeria troop from Biafra territory, as it has been proven beyond reasonable doubt their involvement in terrorism and insecurity in our land. Today, terrorists kidnapped school pupils in the Ekiti community. In Yoruba land, we have secured Biafra land, and the insecurity we have are state-sponsored, being orchestrated by the Nigerian army and the terrorist police. They are involved in kidnapping, raping, killing of women and children, and burning of our marketplaces, homes, and businesses. For the self-referendum that will start on the 1st of February, we hereby declare sit-at-home civil disobedience to create awareness that will enable Biafrans to vote while in their comfort homes. So, fellow Biafrans, on the 1st of February, which is Thursday, entire Biafra land will be locked down. We have communicated all bishops in Biafra territory. We have communicated all officials by mail who reside in Biafra territory. Anyone who violates the order of Biafra government will have him or herself to blame. It is now a revolutionary phase of the Biafra liberation, and Biafra government remains the only legitimate government of the Biafra people, and Biafra people are loyal to. And Biafra government also has a legitimate de facto government chosen by the people of Biafra and not the Nigeria state. Our state government are very active. We have 40 active United States of Biafra. We have 40 active state administrators, otherwise called governors of these 40 states. These 40 states have administrators, state executives that are running the affair of the de facto government of Biafra. Let this sit at home that is coming on the 1st of February be shared to every cranny of Biafra territory, as we are going to lock down every road leading to Biafra territory. The voting will start immediately from 6 a.m. on the 1st of February 2024. The link to vote will be made public 12:00 on the eve of the voting of the referendum date, which first day night by 12:00, 12 a.m. Biafra time. I thank you very much for listening to this State of the Union today, and I will be open for questions from the audience. On Twitter, we have about 10,500 total viewers. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic Government in Exile, for that wonderful State of the Union address. Now we are going to take questions from the audience. Please go ahead and ask your questions through the Twitter space. I will be looking out for the questions that will be coming to the Prime Minister. Thank you very much.
We are saying we want to be free. It is not only Biafra that is going to be free this year. A lot of nations. Nigeria is going to bring it.
Referendum today is the only solution. Referendum. Referendum today is the only solution. We shall never forget. I will never forget. I will never forget what pretended to Biafra. Referendum. Only referendum. Referendum today is the only solution. I say I will never forget. We shall never forget. We shall never forget what Nigeria did to Biafra. Referendum, only referendum. Referendum today.
The reason for this historic references is for you to understand that you make your history. Nobody makes the history for you. So after the self-referendum, we gather in Finland from all over the world. And in Finland, we will use the outcome of the referendum to declare the restoration of independent state of Biafra. And of course, after that, we will make sure that no presence of Nigeria will be allowed in Biafra territory. The sabotage will be taken to the highest level. We will make sure there is no government house under Nigeria will be staying in Biafra territory. So it is then a declaration of independent state of Biafra by declaring the restoration of Biafra, and then we begin to delegitimize Nigeria by making sure that no presence of Nigeria government in Biafra will be allowed. And by the activities and the hostilities of Biafra against Nigeria will bring the international community into what is going to be happening going forward in Nigeria. So that's where we're going. So what the fact is that after the declaration, a why of the hostility, we will take it to the next level, and that will create the room for the international community to pave it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our Prime Minister. The response to that question has been addressed, which is the delegitimization of the Nigerian government from Biafra territory. We go further to take more questions. Your questions through the chat. We are looking out for questions here. Whatever it is you want to get clarifications from the Prime Minister, this is the chance to do that. So please go ahead and ask a question. And we have one question here. I would love to ask, why if the Nigerian government fights the link on that very day?
The reason why we have a long time, is to make sure that there will be no much disenfranchisement of the Biafra people. So I don't think that the system we are going to use, Nigeria government will be able to fight those links. So, but if they do, we have many alternatives, and we hope that it doesn't happen like that. And we are very sure of this link we are using. So everybody should understand that whatever the decision the government of Biafra has taken, we have considered the interest of the Biafra and considered also the process that we are following, and we are very, very sure that this particular process is not going to be sabotaged by Nigeria. Many options to take if any problem line. And remember, after the stage 1 of the voting, which will end sometime in May, we will reassess what we have done, where we need to make amendments, and then we'll go to the second stage of voting. So the voting is stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Another question goes, after redeclaration in Finland, will Nigeria still have rights to come into Biafra territory?
It depends on our firepower. Our target and agenda is to make sure that before then, we will be taking up on all these barracks where these terrorists are coming and planning the attack against our people. And remember, it remains a guerrilla warfare, which will be taken to the maximum level. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that response. We have another question here. What happens to Biafrans in regards to their money in the Nigerian bank accounts after the declaration?
We are working on the Biafra Federal Reserve, and of course, the declaration, as you all know, is not a total declaration that we are going to cut everything off from Nigeria. But Biafra government is working on a Federal Reserve. We are also working on the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency of the Biafra, and hopefully by then our digital currency should be ready, and Biafrans may decide to get their wealth and money and convert them to Biafra currency, Biafra coin, digital currency, and it will be safe.
Thank you very much. The next question goes like this. Concerning the elderly, how do we get them to vote?
The elderly, we are having what we call the electoral officers, many parts of Biafra, and those elders will be attended to. Many of them, we will try as much as possible to see that many elders, especially in the rural area, will be attended to by the electoral officers. And that particular mechanism and measure has been discussed and assessed. And so going into the first 3 weeks or few weeks of the voting, we will be able to know actually the inflow of vote, and then we will re-strategize on how to effectively capture those elders in the rural area. But of course, above all, the most important thing is that those of you who have elderly people in your families can also help in making sure that they participate in the voting by sharing the link, getting their information, and asking them what is their opinion on Biafra. If they say that they are voting for Biafra, you can help them to make that particular process. But what we are doing now is what we believe works for us as a government. So it is we that design what works for us based on the situation on ground. And because Nigeria is a very fragile state, we cannot go, physically and start voting in Biafra land because of the fragile state of Nigeria, and because Nigeria, as everybody know, is a terrorist state that doesn't understand anything rule of law, It does not respect the right that they also are signatory to, especially right of association, right to self-determination, and all that. That doesn't respect those laws. So we have adopted this particular measure, which we believe will work for us. And anybody that is not very happy, we don't care. If the United Nations is not happy with the outcome of the result, then they should step forward and organize a new referendum for Biafra people, which I believe we will be very happy to participate in those referendums. Thank you.
Thank you very much once again. I think we will take this as the last question. This is in regards to the names that should be used while voting. So this person is asking, made changes to my name / I have my father's name as my surname. My family bears my grandfather's names. Can I add them during the referendum?
You can answer your name during the referendum. So long as you are a Biafran, use whatever name you have and your legal name during the voting. So it doesn't matter. So long as you are a Biafran, your vote will count. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our Prime Minister. That will be all from here.
Thank you very much, audience. As we'll bring this particular session to an end, I want to remind everyone to remain resolute. And above all, I will make a very special announcement, for some changes that we have in the government of Biafra Republic Government in Exile. Effective from today, especially those of you in the United States, effective from today, we have an acting American rep in the name of pharmacist Diana Eme. Pharmacist Diana Eme is now the American rep, the new acting American rep, while Dr. Agie has been assigned to a different, have given a different assignment in the government. So from today, those of you in the United States, give your support to her. Make sure you work closely with her. Our target is to make sure that we capture the entire 50 states of the United States. We want to have representatives, want to have admin in those states. So if you reside in the United States and your state is not yet part of the government, or that you don't have the admin in your state, please contact the Biafra government, contact anybody or the media team who will give you contact to Pharmacist Diana. Pharmacist Diana will be the rep of the North and South America, including Canada. Thank you, Biafra people. And on this note, I say, may God bless you. May God bless the United States of Biafra. May God bless the Liberation Army. May God bless the Biafra resistance fighters. May God bless the Biafra Navy. May God bless all other forces, all other armed group, all other brothers in arms that have stood up to defend Biafra land and are in alliance with the Biafra government. May God bless all of you who have worked assiduously to make sure that we have achieved what we have achieved today. Remember that the struggle for Biafra has gained a very powerful global attention, irrespective of the fact that most of the multinational news channels or houses are not talking about Biafra. Doesn't mean that the world leaders are not getting the direct message from different channels of what is going on in Biafra. We will continue to make tougher decisions to create this awareness that will go to the right people that needed to know what is going on in Nigeria. And remember, your freedom lies in your hand. And what has not happened before, you make it happen and it becomes your history. From here, from me, is good evening, and may God bless you all. Good night.
Referendum,
Yes.
referendum,
Now.
referendum today is the only solution.
Let's go.
Referendum. never forget.
Never, never.
I will never forget. I will never forget what we did to Biafra. Referendum, only referendum. Referendum today is the only consolation. I said I will never forget.
Never.
We shall never forget. We shall never forget what Nigeria did to Biafra. Referendum, only referendum.
Yeah.
Referendum today is the only solution. 96, 7 to 7, they came together and keep their France in millions. Referendum, only referendum. Referendum today is the only solution. I said 97 to 1970, they support Nigeria to keep their France in millions. Referendum, only referendum. Referendum today is the only solution.
Today.
Referendum,
Now.
referendum today is the only consolation. I say we shall never forget.
Never.
We shall never forget.
Never.
We shall never forget. Our generation will never forget. Referendum, only referendum. Referendum today is the only consolation.
Yes, sir.
97 to 1970, they came together and keep their France in millions. Referendum,
Yes, sir.
referendum. Referendum today is the only consolation. I said before 66, they been killing their friends. Today, at the say stop. Referendum,
Stop.
referendum. Referendum today is the only solution. I said we shall never forget. We shall never forget. We shall never forget what we did to Biafra. We shall never forget. We shall never forget. We shall never forget. Generation will never forget. We shall never forget. We shall never forget. We shall never forget what Nigeria did to Biafra. We shall never forget. We shall never forget. We shall never forget. Generations will never forget.
Never.
97 to 1970, they came together and keep their France in millions. We shall never forget. We shall never forget. We shall never forget. Our generation will never forget. Referendum, only referendum.
Now.
Referendum today is the only consolation. Only referendum. Referendum. Referendum today is the only solution. Referendum. Referendum. Referendum today is the only solution. Referendum.
Yes, sir.
Referendum. Referendum today is the only consolation. Igbo, will you forget? No, no, no. No, no, no. Our generation will never forget. Referendum. Referendum. Only referendum is the only consolation. Ijo, will you forget? No, no, no. No, no, no. Our generation will never forget. Referendum. Referendum. Referendum today is the only consolation. Will you forget? No, no, no. No, no, no. Our generation will never forget. Referendum. Only referendum. Referendum today is the only consolation. Biafra, will you forget? No, no, no. No, no, no. Our generation will never forget. We shall never forget. We shall never forget. We shall never forget what we did to Biafra. Referendum.